Hello, ladies, gentlemen, or whatever else you want to call yourself. Doku has some things he wants to say. I bet this is a shock to anyone. Doku, say things? When has this ever happened? I mean, good God, it's such an unusual event. Doku,
Me,
say things.
me, me saying things now. I'm usually I'm quiet. I never say anything. I don't know where you have this strange misconception about. Oh wait, never mind.
Yeah. Personally, if I was you, I'd actually be concerned that when it comes to me putting a quarter in the slot to get you to talk, I'd wonder at which slot I'm inserting the quarter.
I
Just saying.
mean,
Yeah, that's the noise. That is exactly the right noise right there. Just
I mean, I know it's early in the morning, but I guess I'll take a drink.
hmm From Matt, I have to say I'm a little insulted that a Fed never tried to groom me to do something. I mean, Buffalo isn't that far from me. What, am I not good enough? I'm sorry to say, mate. Obviously, you're not. You know what it could be, didn't you? Might not be the right colour, the right political persuasion. Let's be fair. There's a lots of ways that they could use this.
I was just gonna say you're just not easily used and abused enough. So, eh, yeah, that's hate to break it to you, Matt, but you're just not enough of a bitch for the FBI to use.
Anyway, talking about being used, Doku.
Oh yeah, so I guess we'll consider this a continuation of the ending of yesterday's stream, where I believe I made the comment that the biggest issue in this country isn't guns. It's not guns. Anybody that tells you it is guns is fucking lying to you, and you shouldn't trust them. The issue is that we have turned mental illness into a protected class, while at the same time dehumanizing the value of human life,
Yes.
or reducing the value of human life. And the people that sit there and talk about guns are the problem, you've probably contributed more to this problem than firearms actually have, because I can almost guarantee you, because nothing is ever a true guarantee, but I'll go out on a limb and say this: you're probably the same individual who thinks that, nah, you shouldn't go talk to a doctor, or if you do go talk to a doctor, that the medication that might or might not result in suicidal or homicidal tendencies is not worth talking about on the public stage, because that's just some sort of shaming or this or that. No, you guys are the ones who have created this problem. It's not law-abiding gun owners. It's not the people that you seek to demonize and punish for the actions of psychopathic, murderous, scumbag criminals. You guys have contributed far more to the situation that we're talking about right now than people who actually own guns. And that problem is exacerbated, and as much as I hate to admit this, really exemplified in the fact that you have parents who want to run into a school knowing there's an active shooter, whether they're armed or unarmed, to save their children, and the cops are stopping them from doing so.
Yeah, I heard about that.
It's like, no, no, we need to wait. We need to wait for backup. Well, you guys, let me check real quick. So, you're police officers. You guys are armed. Your job is to protect the citizenry, and you're stopping parents from saving their kids while there's an active shooter inside of a building. But you're not running in there. And from what I saw, the police chief said, "Well, they might get shot. So, uh, you need eyes on the situation. You need eyes on the target. How are you gonna get that standing outside the fucking building? Like, I'm sorry. I know this will piss people off. Your job is to protect and serve. You know what the fuck you signed up for. Well, this is part of that protect and serve. You know there's an active shooter inside a building. You know people are being shot. And you have parents who are saying, you know what, fuck it. If you're not going to do your job, I'll do it. And
Okay.
you're going to stop them?
Okay. You know full well that this was just post-birth abortion. It's a new version.
You know, there's people that have actually made that argument.
Wow. I was kidding, okay? I want that noted. I was joking. Oh, God. Okay.
Well, no,
I
there.
actually went for the most stupid thinking, so stupid sounding thing I could think of, and people were making that argument. Wow.
Well, dude, there are people who
Wow.
are saying like, "Hey, the baby's been born and it's breathing and its heart's beating and it doesn't require any, excessive medical treatment." But it's still the mother's choice. Like, yeah, it's still an abortion. It
Yeah.
You have people who have made that argument, and yes, it's dumb, it's ridiculous. Any rational human being would look at that and be like, "No, that's just killing a living, breathing thing." This is not even about pro-life or pro-choice at this point in time. Like, the baby's been born. No, there's still people that say, "Yeah, we'll figure out what to do with it." Like, bro, no, like you're just talking about
Fair.
killing a baby. That's all you're doing.
Fair. But carry on with what you talking about. Though at some point I would actually like to chat to you about what Oklahoma's done. I assume you know about the Oklahoma event.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that. I was actually talking to Kim about that
Hmm.
earlier. So we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, my point about this one is you have cops who know there's an active shooter inside of a building, but don't want to go inside the building because there's a risk that they might get shot. So
Yeah.
we're going to wait 30, 40, an hour, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour. And then you have parents saying like, "Yeah, no, fuck you. I'm going inside and I'm saving my kids." And the cops stop them, in some instances using force. Uh,
Hmm.
and if I'm wrong in any way, shape, or form, I openly accept people to push back on me on this.
Hmm.
But I'm going to make the argument that those officers who were preventing parents from going in and saving their children and potentially stopping an active shooter are liable for the loss of life because they not only didn't do anything to try to stop it, they waited, but
Yep.
they actively went out of their way to stop people who could have. Uh, as far as I'm concerned, at that point in time, you're a scumbag and you are directly responsible for unnecessary loss of life.
Hmm. Oh yeah.
And to touch on this one, I did see someone on Twitter who I usually do agree with and I follow, trying to say, well, if you're not willing to run into a building with an active shooter and put your own life on the line, then don't criticize cops. Uh, First off, I'm not a police officer. I didn't sign
Hmm.
up for that type of job, but I see people who did, and they're stopping people who are willing to do it. So, no, I have every fucking right to criticize you because it's your fucking job to make sure this shit doesn't happen. I'm not a cop. You are. I don't have a gun. You do. Now, if you want to hand me your gun and say, if you want to put your life on the line and go stop that person, I would take that fucking gun and say, you know what? If you won't do it, you're sure as shit fucking better bet your goddamn left testicle I fucking will. Because as far as the Second Amendment is concerned, as a fighting age male, as a fucking citizen of the United States, it is my duty and obligation not only to defend myself, but also to defend my country, the safety of my countrymen. It is my fucking duty to defend those who do not have the ability and capability of defending themselves. And if that doesn't apply to fucking elementary school kids, I don't know what the fuck does. So if you have a fucking gun, if you are able to defend the lives of children and you have a gun, you have the ability to defend yourself. It is your fucking obligation. It is your fucking duty to go defend those fucking kids. If you refuse to do it because you're afraid of getting shot, not only you're a fucking scumbag, but you are putting your fucking constitutional obligation and duty to the wayside, and you are one of the biggest pieces of shit that this fucking country has to offer. You know, a lot of
Okay.
people like to talk about constitutional rights. Yes, it is my constitutional right to keep and bear arms. It is my constitutional right to keep and bear arms for a fucking reason. Because me, as a fighting age citizen, I am part of the militia. It is my fucking constitutional right to keep and bear arms because I, as part of the militia, am necessary for the security and safety of a free and fair state. And this son of a bitch psychopath is a fucking threat to the people and the security and safety of a free and fair state, which means I am obliged to do whatever it is within my power to stop him. And you are law officers. You have more of an obligation and duty than I do. And you're not doing it because you're afraid of being shot when it's your fucking job? Go fuck yourself.
Doku, pause, take a breath. There's a video in your DMs for you to watch after this stream. When you listen to this woman, you're going to go mental. Okay? I'm not joking. You are going to lose your ever living mind at some of the things she says. But it's really funny because a lot of the complaints you've made are very similar to the things that you're going to want to say um, when you listen to that. And hey, Neil.
Hey, you know what? Do you just want me to listen to it now? Because
It's
I'm more than willing to go mental right
it's
now.
6 minutes, mate, but it's up to you.
Oh, I've already seen that one. I know exactly what fucking video you're talking about. I don't even
Yeah,
have to watch it. And again, it's in case anybody doesn't know, it's the black chick who's like freaking out about going to war with Ukraine. She's the army chick. It's like, we're about to go to war. It's like, yeah, that's what you signed up for.
yeah, dude. Who would have thought that joining the army might get me sent to war? Um, um
It's like, oh, and she's the same chick. It's like, I'm getting this army money. I'm getting this and that. It's like, yeah, you're getting that money for a reason because you signed up for the potential to go to war and lay down your life for this country. Now, if you're just doing it for a paycheck, to be blunt, you shouldn't be a cop. You shouldn't be in the military. You should not be anything. If you're just doing it for the money, as far as I'm concerned, you're nothing more than a fucking grifter and a scumbag.
yeah,
It's so to all these cops who are like, oh, I don't want to go in the building because I might get shot. Fuck you. You shouldn't be a cop. Piss off.
yeah,
I just signed up for the military because the military has a pension. It pays good money. I've got a sign on bonus, but I don't want to die. I don't want to go to war. You shouldn't be in the fucking military. You can go do a bunch of other shit. And here my fucking ass is, my fucking dumb, drunk fucking ass, sitting here saying, if you handed me a gun, yeah, I would walk into that building and stop someone who's a threat because they're trying to murder children. If you're too fucking afraid, if you're too much of a pussyfoot little bitch ass to go and stop a fucking murderous, psychopathic, active shooter and save the lives of fucking children, but my dumbass is willing to take that gun and do it, you don't have a fucking excuse.
Doku. I've put a meme. I know you've seen it. I've already sent it to you, but do you want to share it for people to see? Because it's a very good thing to put in the background. I think you'll agree. You'll know
Yeah,
which one. Okay. I think that one applies, don't you? But this is the thing, okay? When I watched that video with that young woman, and I'm really trying to word it nicely as best as I can.
she's a cowardly bitch. Fuck that. She's a cowardly fucking bitch.
Yes.
She doesn't deserve to be wearing that fucking uniform.
No. She is seriously an insult to your military, and I feel so bad for you guys. Okay. Now, the reason I got him to put this up because, well, one, I absolutely agree and believe in what they're saying there, and two, I would be in, and I would be happy as all hell. I don't know about anyone else.
Oh, dude, like I said before, the reason that I have a constitutional right to keep and bear arms and that right shall not be infringed is because I recognize the unwritten part of that statement. I also have an obligation to defend my country and my countrymen because I have a right to keep and bear arms. I am obliged to defend those who cannot cannot defend themselves. If I can defend myself, but somebody else can't, it is my duty and obligation to defend them.
Yep.
That's what that fucking means.
Okay, one sec. Hey, Maddie. Hope everything's worked out all right, sweetheart. I hope everything's good. Carry on, man.
But yeah, no, and that's why when I saw that one person saying, like, if you're not willing to go do this, then you shouldn't be criticizing the cops. No, I can criticize the cops because it's not my job to do that. I still recognize the fact that, again, as I've stated ad nauseum, and I hate to repeat myself, but I'm going to anyways, so deal with it. Because I have the right to keep and bear arms, it does mean I have an obligation to defend those who cannot do the same.
Yeah.
End of fucking story. Now, it's not my job to do it. If you're a fucking cop, it's your fucking literal job. You get paid to do that. So don't sit there and tell me if you're not willing to do it, then you can't criticize cops. Bullshit. That's what they get paid to do. There's a reason they fucking give you they give you a fucking bulletproof vest and a fucking sidearm and access to all the fucking utilities and the access to all the fucking network, all the equipment that you have. Like, it's not just you. You have access to much more than I would have as just one fucking person.
Yep. Okay, just for a sec. No, Carl, it wasn't one of the kids because the shooter was like 18 to 20, where the kids were all in elementary. So I know the term holding back, but if that boy was held back into elementary school, then I'm really concerned about his IQ. But then again, hey, he become a shooter, so I'm concerned about his IQ anyway.
Oh yeah, the shooter was an 18-year-old Hispanic male, and I believe it was one teacher dead, and everybody else was elementary school kids. So it's like it's not even like you had someone who was physically capable of fighting back.
No, disgusting is what it is.
Yeah, we're not talking about like you walked into a high school and there might be, a 6'4", fucking 350-pound football player who's there just gonna fucking lay your ass out. Like, nah, dude, we're talking about elementary school kids. And the cops are afraid of going in and stopping this dude because they might be shot. So let's wait 30 minutes or 40 minutes or an hour for fucking backup and SWAT to show up. Oh, by the way, let's also stop parents from going in and saving the lives of their children because, I don't know, reasons. Like, I'm sorry, that is fucking bullshit. If I was a parent and I had a gun, as far as I'm concerned, and I'm going to be very careful about my wording, those individuals, those uniformed individuals who are stopping me from going and saving the life of my children and the life of other people's children, knowing there's an active shooter, are just as much of a threat and complicit as the person who's actively going around and murdering children. I am shocked that this situation played out the way it did, and I'm disgusted by it.
Yep.
And the sad thing is, obviously, I'm disgusted by the actions of the shooter. But I'm disgusted by the actions of the fucking police officers who chose not to put their lives on the line, what they're paid to fucking do, what they swore they would do, and also stopped people who were willing to do it because I guess they weren't willing to do it, and they let children die because of it. Abhorrent, disgusting, disgraceful.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop sharing this so I can actually watch the chat now.
No worries, man. I just thought it was a good thing for people to see, given what's been going on.
But I don't know really what to say about this because if I was a cop and the person above me said, "No, you can't go in there," I would have told them to go pound sand, go lick some dirt, go sniff a dog's asshole, and then I would be suing them later because fuck you. You're the direct result of more people dying because you're not letting me do my job.
Yep.
Hey, my job is to stop people like this. It's the reason I have a badge and a gun. Hey, what the fuck? I don't even. I, I'm gonna reel
Yeah.
myself back in a little bit.
Yeah. From Maddie, if no one authority is going in, this mama bear's going in, I'll be damned if anyone's going to stop me. I totally agree with her. Okay. I really do.
Well, and that's the thing. I think there was like one mom who tried to go in and like the cops tased her and then handcuffed her and shit. It's like they weren't using threat to stop the person who's literally murdering children. They were using force to stop the parents who were trying to go into the building to stop the murderous asshole psychopath from murdering children. The cops were trying to stop people from saving the lives of children. What the absolute fuck?
Yeah. Something from Carl here. Cops are less useful than tits on a bull. Live in a country where they are 40 minutes away at best. I agree. That's just stupid.
And that's the thing. It pisses.
Really is.
And that's the thing. It pisses me off because here's the thing. And I'm going to ask this question. I'm going to be very blunt about it.
Yep.
So, seeing what just happened,
Yep.
do you still trust the government to protect you?
Never.
Do you trust the government to make sure you're fed?
No.
Do you trust the government to make sure you're going to have health care?
Just save time. I don't trust the government. But carry on.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point. It's like the government can't even fucking protect your children when that's their job. But at the same time, we need to take weapons away from law-abiding citizens
Yeah.
because, trust the government and shit. Hey, the government needs to give you health care because, you can't pay
You're going
for
to
it
need it.
yourself. Yeah. Insurance is not a thing. Like, no, we need to give you government insurance. It's like, as far as I'm concerned, no, go fuck yourself. You authoritarian, megalomaniac, fucking crazy pieces of shit. It anyone anyone who wants to make a career out of controlling people while at the same time trying to put a monopoly on violence that gets paid by taking money out of your wallet is a fucking scumbag psychopath, and you shouldn't trust any of them. I don't care if they're Republicans. I don't care if they're Democrats. Fuck them all. These people are fucking scumbags. They need to be fucking ousted. We need to get rid of this shit. Something has to fucking change because this shit ain't fucking working.
No. First, a couple of things. From Matt, I trust the government to make things worse. Yes. From Carl, I trust the government to shoot the dog first and kids second when they raid the wrong house at 5 a.m. Yes. And from Neil, we've had 57 shootings officially, but they admit that's only the ones that have been reported. Uh, um, I realise that people want to keep their locations hidden and stuff, Neil, but I can think of basically one of three places: Chicago.
New York.
No, actually, New York's not as bad as people think it is. Weirdly, Gary,
Hmm.
Indiana, and oh shit, what's the state with the arch over it? Quick, I've gone brain dead.
The Arch?
Yeah, big metal arch. I can't remember what it's called. Cardinals used to play there.
Oh,
This isn't.
fuck.
Yeah, yeah.
Damn it.
I know. I reckon it's one of. No, not California, hon. Not Missouri. St. Louis. Thank you. St. Louis
St. Louis.
Cardinals.
St.
There you go.
Louis.
There we go. There's one of those three, and it has to be. Oh, it's Missouri, is it? Okay, cool. I just know it as St. Louis. Where it is any bugger's guess. Let's be honest. The fact I know where anywhere is in your country is I consider myself doing better than most. Hmm. Oh, I
Yeah,
know,
no,
I know.
St. Louis, Missouri.
Chicago's only number 8. I think you count as like number 3. It's
I mean, at this
horrifying to
point in
think, isn't it?
time, if you look at the job the government is doing,
Hmm.
the best thing we could do is, and weirdly enough, maybe the left has a point here.
Hmm.
Sure, defund police, you know,
Yeah.
but I'll agree to that on one condition: every fighting age man and woman gets a firearm, gets
Hmm.
training,
Yeah.
and gets at least bare minimum 2 magazines worth of ammunition. I guarantee you, if every law-abiding citizen in Chicago was walking around with a fucking Glock or a 1911, you ain't gonna see that many people doing stupid shit, because everybody knows you do some stupid shit, you're gonna get your ass lit up.
Hmm. Oh yeah.
What's the saying? An armed society is a polite society.
Well, that's 30. Yep. Also, do shoot stupid shit, win stupid prizes. It's the other one that I think applies in this equation. Don't know about you.
Like I said, if you went to any of these fuck hellholes where they have the strictest gun laws on the fucking planet, well, the strictest gun laws in regards to one of the only, if not the only nation that still has the ability to keep and bear arms. But if everybody was armed, guess what? You wouldn't see criminals running around and just pulling guns on people willy-nilly.
Tiger Lee's come up with a good idea. Bring back public executions. I like it. Hang 'em
I
high.
don't
I believe that
disagree
was the
with her.
thing that America used to believe that term, wasn't it?
Yeah, hang them high.
Yep.
Again, I don't disagree with her, because again, if you do something stupid and you know I'm armed, congratulations, you did something stupid. You're about to get shot. Here's my Rolex.
Yep.
I'll wait for you to turn around. Bang.
Yep.
Well, why'd you shoot him? Why'd you shoot him? Well, he's a fucking criminal. That's why.
Yep.
Oh, by the way, I'm taking back my fucking Rolex.
Oh yeah.
And also, you're a criminal? Yeah, we're not just gonna treat you as like, oh well, they're just poor, they're misunderstood. Is it? No, you're gonna die. Fuck you. We don't tolerate that type of shit. Polite societies do not tolerate criminals. We especially do not tolerate violent criminals. Violent criminals deserve to die. End of fucking story.
Yeah. So just laughing at
Oh, the
Matt. You have
dope.
a Rolex?
Not yet.
Don't go to New York. Matt's after you. Just saying, man.
Yeah, no. Violent criminals deserve to die. Violent criminals do not have a place in polite society. And that's the other thing that pisses me off about this type of shit, is you have a bunch of fucking assholes coming out and grave standing on the deaths of kids. Like, we need to control guns. No law-abiding gun owner is going around murdering kids. But your fucking brilliant solution is to punish law-abiding citizens and take away their ability to defend themselves because of a situation where a violent murderous psychopath went and killed children. But you're going to punish me, who has done nothing? I'm the person who would have stopped this fucking shitbag.
Yep.
Your cops couldn't stop this shitbag. Your cops didn't want to stop this shitbag. Your cops were too afraid to shot.
Yeah.
But yes, please tell me why I'm the problem.
Yeah. And by the way, Matt, I agree
Absolutely
with you. In all
fucking disgusting.
fairness, the plastic watch is probably going to be better than the bloody Rolex. Let's be honest. They all just tell the goddamn time. Mine does the same as theirs. It's just worth more. Whatever. I'll pay $2. I'm cool with it.
No,
Opinion?
this whole shit is absolutely fucking disgusting, and that's the reason that one comment by the dude on Twitter, which again I usually tend to agree with, but his whole like, you can't blame the cops. Yes, I can. Yes, I fucking can. I can blame the cops because they didn't do their fucking job. Parents shouldn't be going into a school with an active shooter to save their own children. The cops should. The
Mm-hmm.
fact that they weren't, and the fact that they were stopping parents, yeah, I can absolutely fucking blame the cops.
Yeah.
So and don't get me wrong, I still believe in the rule of law and order. I still support police and everything. I'm not the whole like anti-cop defund the police, this and that shit. No, I don't believe in any of that crap. But this is a very easily a situation where you could look at the cops and say, you utterly failed in every fucking job and every duty that you have.
To to Green Arrow quote, "You have failed this city," which actually I think is pretty fair, don't you?
No, it is. And I don't see how any rational person can look at this and say that the police in this situation did not fail completely and utterly. It's not just because they didn't rush in and put their lives on the line. No, it's because you stopped people who were willing to do your job from doing the same. You didn't just not go in and do your job. You stopped people from saving the lives of children.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't just not do your job, you prevented people from saving others' lives. In this case, the lives of fucking children.
Yeah. Disgusting, in my
It,
opinion.
no, it's just beyond disgusting. We did. There's no word in the English language to describe it.
Yeah.
It's abhorrent. And every single one of them should be taken to task and held to trial and held accountable for this shit. Especially, they should have to fucking look directly into the face of every fucking parent who had a child that was killed that day and fucking
Yeah.
explain to them why they didn't go into that building and stop that murderous fucking shitbag from murdering their child.
Yeah. Actually, Neil's come up with an opinion you might want to take note of. I mean, just look at most of the mass shooters. Most of them we find out they've already known about, and they still didn't stop it. I'd love to hear your version of what you want to think about that because I will actually tell you my opinion nice and early. I think that's freaking ridiculous. The second you find out that someone may be classed as an active shooter, they need to be watched and they need to have someone standing there at 500 yards with a sniping rifle in case the idiot tries something stupid. Let's be honest, sniping rifle will generally get rid of most problems very suddenly.
I mean,
Tell
you
me
know
I'm
what?
wrong.
I'm not going to say you're wrong because you're not.
Hmm.
I'm just going to cut down to the crux of the issue.
Hmm.
You can't trust people in positions of authority to take care of you. You don't know them, they don't know you. You can't trust them to take care of you. You can't trust them to defend you. The only person you can trust is yourself. Maybe if you have a good neighbor, you can trust them. But if
Hmm.
you're willing to give up your safety and security because you believe that somebody else is going to protect you or take care of you, I'm sorry, you're a fucking idiot.
Yep. From Shirati, I bet the feds were controlling the situation. Wouldn't shock me.
It wouldn't shock me either because as far as when we look at the Buffalo shooter, the cops are aware of him. They knew exactly that he was an unhinged fucking moron. These are the same fucking people who are like, we need to have universal background checks, which by the way, we already have background checks as a federal law, so that argument's irrelevant. It already in place. So moving on. Uh, you already knew this guy was a murderous fucking scumbag. You already knew that he was dangerous, and you chose to do fucking nothing. And what happened? He killed a bunch of people, a bunch of innocent people. And what did you guys do? Nothing.
Thing here from Carl. Buffalo police are now investigating a retired federal agent who'd been in contact with the shooter there for months and likely had 30 minutes of notice of the shooting. That Fed is in Texas.
Hmm.
Opinion?
Well, I can't say I'm surprised because usually these things tend to be connected. And I mean, let's be blunt. We're still waiting on the motivation and how the Las Vegas shooter managed to get that many firearms into a fucking building. Uh, so yeah, no, I don't trust any of this shit.
Oh, Tiger has just come up with something. And do you know what? I didn't actually want to think this, but she might be right with this. Maybe they allowed it so they can take away gun rights from everyone. They can,
Again,
because they can use this shit. Come on.
again, every time something like this happens, what immediately is the rhetoric from the political authoritarian fucking
Oh yeah, get rid of all
mouthpieces?
guns. Get rid of all guns. I know. But
Well,
that's the point.
but these are the same people who say like, "Oh, we need to defund the police. We need to be we need to be soft on crime." Uh, I mean, fuck, Kamala Harris was bailing out people who tried to light buildings on fire with people still inside. It
Yeah.
These people don't fucking care about you. They're not concerned with trying to defend the public or trying to defend people or defend children. They don't care about the deaths of children. They don't care about public safety. No, what they're trying to do is they're trying to de-arm law-abiding citizens. They're trying to punish law-abiding citizens for the actions of fucking criminals that they openly let out. Look at the fucking subway shooter. This dude was already like what 17. He's already been arrested 17 times. One of those
Hmm.
arrests was either murder or attempted murder, some shit like that. And this dude was still fucking out walking around the streets. But no, you need
Yeah.
to take away my AR-15 as a law-abiding citizen who has committed no fucking crime because I'm a threat to society. Go fuck yourself.
Hmm.
And
It's hmm.
this is not about stopping the loss of life. This is not about punishing criminals. This is about authoritarianism and control. And these motherfuckers will let this shit happen over and over and over again until they get their way because their goal is just that. They do not want me to defend myself. They do not want me to have the capability of defending myself. They don't want me to be financially independent. They do not want me to teach my own children. They do not want me to have any self reliance. They don't want me to be able to buy my own food. What they want is they want me to be reliant upon the government in every way, shape, and form. And if I dare step out of line, they will toss me in a fucking gulag or worse, put me up against a fucking brick wall and put a fucking bullet through my head because the only thing they care about is their own fucking power and control. And if you don't think that's what the fuck is going on, then you haven't been paying the fuck attention.
I don't want to have to agree with Tim Pool here, but something that Tiger Lee said, going to be a civil war. Do you know what? I really can see that it's going to happen because you guys have given up, and I say you guys, I'm actually going to include myself with this one. All of us have given up too much power to our respective governments. It's just that now they take it as said and that we're not going to do anything, and that is a problem.
Oh, and again, that's the issue. And if I've tried to say this to people as well, the greatest threat to the system, the powers that be, what if you want to call them the cathedral, the oligarchy, the elites, the ivory tower, whatever you want to call them.
Hmm.
The greatest threat to them is realizing, specifically voting age fucking adults,
Hmm.
realizing that you don't need Big Brother to sit there and hold your hand. Everything that Big Brother can promise you, you can do yourself. And oh, by the way, you have the freedom to choose how you want to live your life and how you want to spend your money. You don't need the fucking government.
Yep. From Carl. Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, a woman back in the 1990s had to get a TRO issued against FBI agents who had been grooming her adult autistic son to be a school shooter, according to court filings. Wow.
I
Just
mean,
wow.
I want to say I'm surprised, but I'm not.
No.
They, it doesn't surprise me. And to be perfectly honest, and if this gets me in trouble, I really don't fucking care.
Hmm.
The government, and more specifically, when I say the government, I'm not talking about our elected officials. They're
No.
basically just talking heads and puppets at this point in time, anyways. But
Oh,
when
yeah.
it comes to the appointed officials, the people you can't fire, they're openly the enemies of the people and of the country. They are traitors. They are treasonous. They are not operating to defend the country. They're not operating to defend the citizen. They're not operating on good faith. They are not operating on behalf of you and me. They are operating to serve a certain political purpose. And that has absolutely nothing to do with the United States, the betterment of its citizens, or the well being of its citizens. They are operating to destroy the country and replace it with something else. I'm not going to say what that something is because, to be blunt, I don't fucking know, and nobody does. We can put whatever name on it, but these people are traitors.
Hmm.
And you know what we do with traitors?
Let them go because apparently you're not allowed to shoot them anymore.
And you know what? I'll send them over. Well, I'll send them to Guatemala. If you believe in open borders, hey, free and fair exchange of citizens. I'll take I'll take hardworking Guatemalans over these treasonous fucking leeches any day.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
send me all your hard workers, and I'll send you all our traitors.
I bet they get more people than you do.
Matt has a good point. Traitor
Mhm.
implies they were on your side at some point.
Fair.
That's a good point. I can't really argue against that one. It's a very,
Hmm.
very valid point.
Disgusting, but valid. Oh lordy.
Uh, Again, bring back the gallows and make a public spectacle of it.
Yeah. Right. You got 20 minutes of your time left. You want to start doing the Oklahoma conversation, or do you want to save that for another day?
Do you want to kick it off, or do you want me to? Because I think this is actually pretty straightforward.
Go for it. This is, dude. I would, but this is an American thing, and you're the token American here. Sorry to say.
All right, so Oklahoma has become the first state that is outlawed abortion, except in extenuating circumstance.
Hmm.
This has always been my standpoint on this. I don't like the idea of abortion. I really don't. I tend to lean to more the pro-life side.
Hmm.
I do understand that yes, there are extenuating circumstances. Where I tend to fall in line with things is if if you're going to perform an abortion, it has to be because either the life of the mother is at risk or the child is not viable. And rather than going with the argument of like, has the brain developed, or we're doing a brain scan, or has the nervous system developed, or is there a heartbeat? I don't like any of these arguments because, as far as I'm concerned, the government shouldn't be involved in any of this shit, period. This should be between the patient and the doctor, period. End of fucking story. It It's kind of the same way I view marriage. I don't know why the government has a say in marriage at all, period. It's not the government's fucking job. The government only has four jobs and four jobs only, as far as I'm concerned: maintaining a military, representing us on the world stage, making sure that the Constitution of the United States is upheld, and on top of that, making I forgot what the fourth one was. Regardless, it's going to be a tangent. I'm not going to go down
Okay.
that road. I think there's an easier way to put this into. I think there's an easier way to frame this where both the pro life and pro choice side could look at it and say, yeah, that's reasonable. And it
Hmm.
has nothing to do with whether or not abortion should be illegal or legal.
Hmm.
If you're a doctor, you have a duty to uphold the Hippocratic Oath. If you don't, it is a crime.
Yes.
And I think that's a bigger issue right now. If you're a doctor, and I'll just use this as an example, if you're a doctor and you're upheld to the Hippocratic Oath, if the child can survive outside of the womb, you can't kill it. End of story. It
Hmm.
doesn't matter if the mother wants you to kill it. She can say, "My body, my choice," all you want. No, he has a he has a he has a duty to preserve life. You cannot kill the child. just because you want to, just because it's a whim. No, you cannot fucking do that. And
Mhm.
that's where you get these people on the one extreme saying, "Oh well, like fucking Governor Ralph Northam. Well, the child will be delivered and then a conversation will take place." It's like, no, the child's delivered. The kid's alive. It's not your body anymore. End of story. You can't do shit. There will be no fucking conversation. The child will go up for adoption and hope to fucking God never know who the hell you are because you even considered killing a viable child that is already outside the womb and living and breathing. God forbid they ever have any contact with you ever again. No, this needs to start with doctors upholding the Hippocratic Oath. You have a duty to make sure that both the mother and the child survive. And as medical professionals, I'm not looking at lawyers or DAs or fucking politicians saying this is good, this is bad, let me give my opinion, let's take this court. No, this is between a fucking doctor and their patient. And if that doctor says if you do not do this, you're going to fucking die. Then whoever that patient is says, you know what, I'm willing to take the risk. I'd rather die than do thing. All right, that's between them. If they say I don't want to die, do said thing, that's between them. It is not the government's fucking business.
Can I be the devil's advocate here and point out what about women that were insert statement here of incest, rape, etc. Okay, they are the excuses that people use the most. So, what is your opinion on both of those?
All right, it's going to sound insensitive, but to be blunt, I don't really care if it sounds insensitive.
Mm-hmm.
Just because something bad happened to you does not give you the right to take the life of somebody else.
No,
I'm
fair.
sorry, that's just the way it is. It's unfortunate. I know it sucks. It's very unfortunate, but just because if somebody punches me in the face, it doesn't give me the right to go and punch somebody else in the face because they didn't do jack shit to me. It's not their fault.
Fair.
They, I know a lot of people use that argument, but again, unless it's a medical issue, unless it's like, look, you don't have a choice, you're going to die. It does not give you the right to infringe upon the rights of others. It's just that fucking simple.
Hmm. Yeah, I'll give you for instance. You might find this entertaining. Woman decides that, I mean, she finds that she's pregnant and decides she doesn't want to have the baby. So she's going to the abortion clinic. Okay. On the way there, she's mugged by a nut job who stabs her in the stomach, kills the baby, but she survives badly injured. You know, the bloke still gets done for murder, don't you?
Well, yeah,
But she was about to go and kill the baby.
it is amusing when people bring up that argument where it's like if you kill a pregnant woman, it's considered a double homicide, but yeah,
Yeah.
abortion, it's not. It it's funny how these definitions change.
Oh, yeah.
The same way that my favorite one is still, hey, we can find a single-celled organism on Mars and consider it life, but it a child that has a developed nervous system, a brain, and a heartbeat, and a circulatory system, but just because it's inside the mother's womb, that's not considered a life. It because I hate to break it to people, and I know some people are probably gonna not like what I'm about to say, and if you don't like it, well, I don't really care. When it has its own heart, when it has its own brain, when it has its own nervous system, when it has its own circulatory system, you can call it a parasite. You can call it whatever you want. But at that point in time, it's not your brain. It's not your heart. It's not your nervous system. It's not your circulatory system. It's not your body. It's living inside of your body. It's dependent upon your body and your nutrient intake to survive, but it's not yours. It is not you. That is not your body. That is another living thing. It's not yours.
One sec. Possibly we are both morons, Shirati, but we're currently discussing opinion, and whether we're correct or not doesn't matter. Our opinion is what we think it is, whether it be right or wrong. Go on.
Yeah, you can call me a moron all you want, but I'm sorry. I'm standing by my opinion. Hey, again, is it your brain? Or is it the brain of the fetus that's currently growing inside your belly that is using the nutrients that you take in and process through your body that then go into its body in order to grow further? Is it your body or is it your child's body? Which one is it?
Well, it's the child's body that's getting killed, so I mean, there's your subtle clue right there.
Which one is it? Is it the body of the child? Or is this just an extension of the mother's body?
You know what? I'm actually going to bring Shirati in because female opinion can help. This is your one chance to run for it, Doku. Okay.
Oh, I'm not going to because I'm going to bring up one other point.
Yep.
If we're going to really get scientific about this shit, half
One
that
sec.
DNA belongs to the father too. So if the father's not in this conversation either, go fuck yourself.
I agree. Shirati is in DMs. We're going to get to have a woman's opinion on this, which actually I'm quite glad about since the conversation we're having.
Oh, and
Okay.
honestly, and I'm not even going to go as far as to say like the father should have a 50-50 say on it, but
No.
the father does need to at least have a say because it's not just years and years alone exclusively. The father still does have a say. Now,
Fair.
I don't know what percentage. I don't know if it should be a solid 50-50%. I'm not sure where that argument goes, but they should still have some say. And I'll finish on this before I let Sharadi go.
Mm-hmm.
My opinion out there, that's still my opinion, and I still don't think the government should have a say in what a patient and the doctor do, one way or the other. And if we have to really fucking decide that the government has to say something one way or the other, then it should at least be up to the states and not the fucking federal government because it's a nuanced issue. It's not a black and white issue. So the federal government could go fuck itself.
Okay. First of all, hello, Shirati.
Hello, boys. Guess what, Doku? You're right on the aspect that the federal government has no right whatsoever. You're also right that men should have a say, as long or unless they just up and disappear as soon as they find out that the woman is pregnant,
I agree with that.
which some do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to disagree there. Actually, if they don't want to be part of the child's life, then fuck them. They don't have a say.
Yeah.
I agree with you there. I will say that.
One sec. Matt, it's usually known as from Spider. Basically, so what? I'm a spider. That's where the avatar comes from, mate.
Aren't they adorable?
They
Anyways,
are.
back to my point.
Yep.
The heartbeat comes at 6 weeks. 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
The brain develops at 14 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Now, people allow people to die, whether they're 14, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, hell, 70s, 80s, 90s, when their brain activity isn't there anymore. And they have a nervous system. They have a heartbeat. They could be on oxygen and in a fucking coma. But they're still allowed to die. But women can't abort a child
No,
because they don't have brain activity. I will say they should be allowed to abort a child Because I thought it was 15 weeks. I was admittedly wrong. So I've been saying 15 weeks until I learned differently. Up to 14 weeks.
So I'm going to ask you a question because I have gotten into an argument with a few people about this one. So there's, you brought up like, okay, there's an old person or someone who doesn't have brain activity, someone who, yeah, they still have a heartbeat, they still have brain activity, but they're essentially a vegetable.
Stop talking about Biden that way. Come on.
Damn it, Jensen. And I do think this is a good argument because it does show that this is not a black and white issue. It is a nuanced issue. And there's no way it isn't. Like, no matter what way you look at it, regardless of what side of the argument you're on. My issue is this. When you're talking about someone who is essentially brain dead, who is essentially a vegetable, we already have laws against euthanasia. You're not allowed to kill people. You're not allowed to do that. You have to do everything within your power to make sure this person stays alive, whether you think that's a good thing or a bad thing. The issue I have with a child is you're just making a guess. You're just making an assumption. Like, you don't know that this person is capable of surviving outside the womb because they're not born. They're not outside the womb. You haven't made the effort. Like, you're just making a decision based upon what you think is the most probable outcome. And the more important part is the individual, the person, the human being, the entity, whatever you want to call it, doesn't have a say-so in the matter. If you wanted to make the argument that, and I would actually acquiesce to this and agree with it, if there's a person who is essentially brain dead or a vegetable that could, just hold up one finger if you want to die, I would say, you know what? If that's what they want, who am I to tell them no? Because that's what they want. But again, that should stay between the patient and the doctor. The issue with abortion, you can't ask the unborn child, like, well, you might be born autistic, but would you rather just die and not have a chance at life, period? There's no...
I'm not talking about people that can hold up one finger and say that 1 if you want to die, 2 if you don't. Or
so
whatever the hell you were saying. I'm talking, they're so out of it that they can't do a fucking thing for themselves.
So then you would just make a decision on their behalf.
Yes, there's power of attorney. You have full control. They can't move from the bed. I literally watched somebody be raised, they were living in a hospital bed for over a decade. They were on oxygen, completely brain dead. I didn't understand what that meant at the time. My family member could not let that go. Or let that person go.
One opinion. The worst part is they still managed to vote Democrat. So it's quite impressive, really, isn't it?
That woman, from what I hear, is so damn stubborn, I doubt she would have let the Democrats allow it.
That's actually fair. And by the way, Shirati, that wasn't as an insult. I'm just lightening the mood. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
So what I'm going to say about this, because again, this is not something where there's a right or wrong answer, because there isn't a right or wrong answer. It really is opinion, and it really is situational. Anybody that says that there is a right or wrong answer to this, no matter what, they're lying to you, and you can tell them to go fuck themselves because they're full of shit. The problem that I have with this particular type of situation in this comparison is that one individual at least had a chance at life and the other wasn't given a chance. That's my problem with it. And I'm not saying that well, I choose not to have an abortion, even though I know the baby might not have a chance at life, and then the baby.
But you want to give forced pregnancies a chance at life. Literal rape, incest, stuff like that, which I think is beyond. What if children have incest and rapes and shit forced upon them? You want to make them have babies?
If I may, I'll join in with this bit. Actually, I would agree with you there, Sharti, but I would point out that that's because the children are generally not going to survive, or at least be incredibly ill affected by said pregnancy. Whereas, like it or not, and I don't mean this as an insult, I'm just being blunt, at least as an adult, you're actually able to deal with it a damn sight better than the kid would. I'm not saying it's right, I'm not saying it's good, I'm saying it's possible.
Okay, my husband just pointed out that it's 0.0001, which accounts for possibly 3 out of every one of them. So he gave me statistics, actual statistics.
Well, I don't know if that's the actual numbers, but I know those are close.
Cool.
The number of rapes and incest abortions are statistically non-existent compared to, well, fuck it, I'm a whore, I just don't want to have this kid, I was too stupid to use protection or abstain from sex, so I'm just going to murder the kid because it's more convenient.
Yep. Oh, I agree with you there, man.
Well, like I said, I don't think that abortion should be completely taken off the table in any situation, but it's one of those things where if you're just using it as a form of birth control, no, that's not the way it works. Now, if it is and again, I would make the argument, if it is something that's a result of rape or incest, psychological evaluation and impact implication needs to be taken into account too. You could easily make the argument, and I'm surprised this doesn't come up more in conversation, where I have to have a child that's a result of rape has a drastic and detrimental psychological effect on the mother. That needs to be talked about. And I know there's going to be people on the pro-life side who would say, well, it doesn't matter, you still can't kill the kid. And I know there's people on the pro-choice side who would say, like, no, mother's going to commit suicide and murder the kid, so it needs to be talked about. Like, you're right, both sides are correct and need to be talked about. I don't know which side is correct because I have no fucking idea. I still think it's situational, but it does need to be talked about. And again, as I've stated before, it's none of the government's fucking business.
Fair.
Am I off base anywhere on that one? Like, I'm trying to be as rational and moderate as possible. As, like, I'm being more milk toast fence sitting than fucking Temple right now.
Be careful, he may take that challenge and out milk toast you. Okay.
Now, you are just saying some things that's annoying the hell out of me. And it's, I think, because you're being so, what's the word, affected by your social worker friend, which I still want to go at, by the way.
Well, Doku,
I haven't talked to Syntax about this at all.
How do you feel about Syntax
Yeah.
and Sharati going one-on-one? And no, I'm not talking with a big trough of mud for those weirdos that are listening. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Matt.
I mean, if they want to go at it, that's fine. I'll ask Syntax if she wants to. The only reason I would say not right now is because there's a lot of fucking metamaterial shills who have just been trying to basically defame and threaten people on social media. They've been going after roller pigeons. They've been going after Syntax. They've been going after a lot of people like Uncle Smokey. Sterling Stocks is still like missing from the internet, from Twitter for like a month now. But I mean, if she's up for it and she wants to have a debate, I'm not her fucking keeper. If she's cool with it, then fine. I'll let her know if you want to have a debate back and forth. I'll see what she says. Like,
there you go, Sharati.
She's a big girl. She can take care of herself.
Cool. All right. It's pissing down rain outside right now, so I'm going to let you go. Otherwise, it's going to start affecting buttons. See you later. Bye.
No worries, man. Bye. Well, to be honest, mate, I think we actually have gone past the hour, so I think that's a good time to actually bring it to an end. Do you have any final words you wish to say to the wonderful people listening?
Yeah, the only thing I can say at this point in time is like, you guys have heard my opinions on this stance, what I think about the subject, and again, I don't think it's the fucking government's business. The government needs to get the fuck out of people's private lives. End of story.
Fair. Okay. In that case, ladies and gentlemen, or whatever you want to call yourself, thank you very much for coming out and listening to us drivel on. I hope you actually got some sort of entertainment out of it, and I'll speak to you all later. Goodbye, everybody.